we're going to do a little video of how to fit the cogs of the e-bike kit. Now this particular wheel is one I've bought specially for fitting this cog. It's a single cog hub. If you have a geared cog, then the easiest way to fit it on a geared cog is remove 3 or 4 of the very small gears and then fit your extension and your single cog onto the same side. And that's by far the easiest way of doing it. If you wanted to fit a cog on this side, then you do need some sort of welding skills. Maybe weld this to a piece of steel which attaches to the side. It's quite a tricky thing to do. I suppose you could fit, if you fitted the extension on, you could put a large nut over the top of this and hold it in place, something like this. Obviously you have to get some sort of washers on there and then try fitting your cog onto this side of the bike. But again, it takes a lot more skill to do that, a lot more know-how, and you have to real sort of fiddle with it to get it on. It's meant to go on the same side as the existing cog as shown in the instructions. So that's what we're going to do in this little video. So there we have it, and you see all I've done so far is I've took the original one off, the original cog. I've slackened off this bolt and the actual hub bolt, and the reason I've done that, the reason I removed this originally is because it had this extension in between on both sides and it was just making the whole thing a little too wide. Now you do get a larger extended axle, but you don't really need to use it if you can remove the spacers. So that's what I've done. I've just removed the spacers, I've put the retaining screw back on, and there's our hub. Make sure it's still nice and freewheeling, and it is. And now we're ready to fit the e-bike kit. So this was originally on the bike, so I'm going to put that one back on. Make sure we put it on the right way. Again, if these things aren't going on easy, then it's probably because it's cross-threaded. So just be careful when you're putting them on. And the same goes for the extenders. So here's one of the extenders. You see the 2 holes, the tool holes on the sides there. That's so you can remove it if need to, or tighten it up if you want to. Make sure they're on the outside. If they're on the inside, you ain't going to be able to get to them. And we're going to screw that in place, and that's actually screwing into the existing thread of this cog. Now sometimes if it's not quite catching, just give it a couple of turns and it'll grip. Now once it's gripped, then you can tighten the cog up, and you want it just so it's holding on there. That's it, just about got it on. Again, if it's not gripping, just undo the cog slightly and that'll grip, but you want plenty of space on there. It's not quite gripped again. Just take another couple of turns. Today, isn't it? There we go, it's on. So that's gripping. Is that gripping? Son of a bitch. Right, let me just undo it a little bit more. Around here, a little bit. So it's gripping on the actual existing thread that's in there. So you want to get it just the right. You don't need an awful lot of thread because your other cog's going to go on here. So I'd say I'm looking at about a third of the thread is visible. Again, it's something you just play with, just do it by eye. But once that's on there and it's caught, it will hold. And then you can tighten up the other existing cog. You always use your glove for this because it does get quite tight. That's nice and tight. That's tightening it. Now when you're using the bike, obviously when you pedal, that's all tightening. It's constantly tightening these things up, so you don't have to go overboard with them when you're putting them together. You've now got the little spacer which is going on, and again they're very easy to cross thread, so you need to make sure it's married up nicely, it's nice and flat, and it just eases on, and you should be able to spin it on with one finger. Now if you're having to do this and you're really sort of tightening it up and it's just not going on, then it's cross-threaded and you're just damaging the thread. So if you can't do it with one finger, there's something wrong, there's something in the way there. And I usually get that nice and tight just by popping a screwdriver on there and just giving it one quick boink, bang, and it's still not tight. It's not going well today. There we go, just nip that up, that should be spot on. We're still freewheeling one way, nice and tight the other. And now we've got the other extension to put on, and that goes exactly the same way as this one. Let's put the new cog on. Again, it'll only go on one way, so it's freewheeling in the same direction and it's gripping in the same direction. And we should have a few mil, at least about 4 or 5 mil of thread, which is going to go onto our new cog. So let's see if we'll get that in place. Is it going to grip? There we go. Brilliant. Put the old glove back on there to give it a tighten. You can get tools to tighten these things on, like this kind of thing, but there's no really need for it. Again, every time you turn the motor on or put your foot on a pedal, it's tightening the thing in position. And you can see we've got about 3/4 of that still left on the open there. And that's really just on that small bit of thread, that's really secure, it's not going to go anywhere. But this is where the other extender comes in. Now all bikes vary with the frame width, so you need to play around with these. Once that's in position, make sure obviously you've got enough space on your axle to be able to fit it in your frame. You should be able to do it, it's pretty standard size. It can be a bit of a snug fit, but it should go in there, no problem. Right, okay, so once that's in place, next job is just fit the last spacer. Oh, this one's going to be more of a retainer, it doesn't really need it to be honest, but it's on there and we're now ready to put the axle onto the bike, and I'll show that on a separate video. Okay, cheers, thank you.